It is a rainy Saturday morning. Got my tea and I'm ready to chat. Oh god, that's still hot. Nice. I saw something recently and I really resonated with it, and I wanted to talk about it here because I have a feeling that it will resonate with a lot of other artists too. If you don't like your art, it's probably unfinished. And I don't mean the piece is unfinished, like the rendering, the line work, whatever it may be, whatever your style is. I don't mean that that is unfinished, although that could be an issue. I mean that the context around the piece is unfinished. And what I mean by that is, well, let me show you an example. It'll probably be easier to explain. So I started with this bird here. It was the very first thing I did on this page. And after I finished drawing it, I was like, nope, pack it up. We're done here. I wasn't happy with it. I didn't like the colors. I didn't like how big it was. It's like a quarter of the page. I didn't intend for it to be that big. It just kind of happened. And mostly I didn't like the colors. I didn't like how I did the rendering. Like, I wanted it to look shinier, like more glass ceramic, like, since this little trinket here, it's like a little glass ceramic bird. So I wasn't happy with it. But I closed the sketchbook for the night. I was like, you know what, like, fuck it, we're done. And the next day I came back to it and I had all of this white space staring at me. Am I just gonna leave that? Am I gonna leave just something on the page that I don't even like? So every single time I flip to this page, I'm just gonna look at a piece of art that I don't even like. So I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna finish the page. Whatever. At least something will be on the page that I like. Hopefully, anyway. I was hoping I would make something that I'd like. So I finished the page in this blue theme. I ended up doing colors that matched this to make it feel more cohesive, to make this color choice feel intentional because it was not feeling intentional. So I did this little matchstick here, which matched the body of the bird here, and just the blues overall. So I finished this page, and you know what? I didn't hate the bird as much as I initially did, because now this bird has context around it. Now it feels like a part of a whole. It feels more intentional. It feels finished because of the pieces around it. But to take it one step further, I still was not happy with this layout. Like, I just drew these willy-nilly. I didn't intend to lay them out this way. I just kind of filled the space where I could. This doesn't feel designed or intentional to me. So I scanned these in, and then I altered it digitally and rearranged and made a layout that I felt was more designed. And so that's another way that I mean by context, is that the layout of it, where it lives, also could feel unfinished. If you don't like your art, it's probably unfinished. Every single piece on here, I'm not like particularly proud of. The rendering is fine, it's whatever. It's not like I wouldn't post any of these individual ones and be happy with it. But when they're together as a whole, it feels better. And not even just these pieces, like this page feels better because it exists with this one. So I started this one. This was the very first one I did, and this deer specifically is the first one I did. But I decided to draw little trinkets, and I just kept going with the idea. And I'm still going, I'm not done. Here's another one another page I'm working on. I'll be finishing that page too. But these pieces feel better to me in context with each other. And so sometimes doing a series might make your piece feel complete. It might make you happier with the piece in the long run, because I'm happier with all these pieces now that they exist together. And sometimes pieces can feel more whole, more complete when you have them in a series, when they're living next to similar pieces. At least that's true for me. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. So if you make a piece and you like hate it, you're like, I want to scrap this and start over, keep it and make another one like it. Maybe that feeling of like, ugh, I hate it, you just need to make more of it. Do another piece that has like the same concept or a similar style or whatever it is it may be that you're experimenting with. Because I like those drawings a lot more now that they're in a series. And I'm going to continue this series, and I'm probably going to like the whole thing much more than any individual drawing in it. Although I am pretty partial to the font, the very first one that I did. I think that's why I kept going with it is because I liked the first one I did so much. And if you don't like your art for the actual rendering part, like you really don't like a part that you messed up on, a part that looks ugly to you, whatever, fix it digitally. Scan it in, fix it digitally. You don't like the color of something? Change the color hue saturation slider in whatever program you're using. Change it. Especially if you're working traditionally and you don't like a piece, you feel stuck with it, like, okay, it's on paper now, like this is what it is, whatever, I don't like it. In this instance, I would say work digitally. Scan it in, make those adjustments that you want digitally. If you accidentally spilled some ink on something, like clone out the little ink splatter on it. You're allowed to use digital tools to fix... Oh. That's a spider. Oh god, that's a spider. Be right back. Alright, spider's gone. Anyway, what was I saying? You're allowed to use digital tools to fix your traditional drawings. That's not cheating. For some reason, when I was younger, I thought that altering your traditional analog work digitally was cheating. I don't know where I came up with that. I don't know, it felt like cheating to me. Like, it wasn't a true representation of the work that I had made, so I felt like it was cheating. I think that's where my mind was. It's not cheating. It's still my art. I still made it, no matter what tool that I'm using. So, feel free to fix things digitally and let the original live in the original context that it lived in. But at least you have a piece that you're happy with and it's finished. What's cheating is using AI. That's cheating. That is not work that you create, but that's a topic for another video. Altering your traditional work digitally is a tool, ultimately. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. You're just finishing your pieces, making them exactly how you want them to be, so that way you're happy with your pieces. So I scanned this in and rearranged it digitally like that. No one will think twice about that, so you shouldn't either. And if you still don't like your work after all of those things, after you've added context to it, after all of that, and you still don't like your work, your issue is probably comparison. And as they say, comparison is the thief of joy. For example, this birdie. I wanted it to look more glassy, and you know why I wanted it to look more glassy is because I had just done this one. I was comparing it to this one. Even if you're not comparing it to your own work, a lot of people have the tendency, and myself included, I do this, is you compare yourself and your work to other artists, people you see online, people whose skill levels are miles ahead of yours, people who have been practicing a lot longer than you have. Everyone does it. I do it. I'm guilty of it. We all compare our work. We tell each other, don't compare your work to other work. We do it anyway. Like, I feel like that's just so human to compare your work to other people's work. And sometimes it comes out being beneficial. You want to get to someone else's level, so you are determined and you practice to get to someone else's level. But the thing is, once you get to that level, you're gonna find a new level to aspire to. You now have even more levels higher up than that to aspire to, and it's just never ending. But that also is the joy of creation. Like, that is the never-ending journey of art. You're always going to want to be better. Even the professionals, even the people who are insanely good, they're never happy with where they're at. It's always wanting more. And I feel like once you are happy with where you are, it doesn't last long. I've gotten to points where I like my art. I like how I'm doing things. I like my skill level. But then you eventually plateau. I stopped liking what I was doing. I got bored with what I was doing. I think that was the main issue for me, is once I was happy with what I was doing, I got bored. For me, it's all about learning and getting better, and that's the joy that I find in art. So if you are gonna compare your work to other people's work, don't let it stop you from enjoying your own. Once it starts stealing that joy of creating, then you know you need to stop comparing your work to other people's work. There's a quote that I like that I'll end this video with. Can anything be sadder than work left unfinished? Yes. Work never begun. And that quote is by Christina G. Rossetti. That's all I have for today's little chat. Hopefully you guys resonated with that. If you haven't been feeling happy with your art, maybe these tips will help. Maybe you adding context to your art will make you like it more. And if you're still comparing to other people, maybe try to limit social media, try to limit the ways in which you can see other people's art. Make a bubble, a protective bubble around yourself. That way you can't compare yourself to others. That's all. See you next time.